Okay, we're going to look at objects now. An object is a data type, but it's quite an interesting one, and I'll show you why. So how do we create an object first of all? We'll say let my object equal that. So yeah, that's an object, but that's an object with nothing in it. So these are the reason why this is interesting is because an object can contain properties, which are essentially just variables, and they can also hold methods, which are essentially just functions. So this is a way of keeping a lot of data contained within this object, uh, and we can make it specific to this. So we can say my object, and the way we create a property is with dot notation. We just say my object dot and then name equals Tom. My object dot HP equals 50. Um, so yeah, that's kind of it. That's how you add properties to this object. But then if you want to use that, one way of uh, getting this data back out, you can make a variable that says name, let name equal my object dot name. So this is you saying just grab this and then put it into this variable. So all of this stuff before my object, all of this is just what we've seen before. We're saying this is the variable name, assign this value to that variable. So that's my object dot name, and this is just you grabbing the name Tom. So let HP equal my object dot HP. Same thing. You can also use if you can also use something like my object name equals Tom. So this is just another way of assigning this, and then you would get that in a very similar way. My object name. So it's just different notation, different ways of doing this. Let name equal my object, open square brackets, put in the name of the property, and it just returns this. And you can use this just in the same way that we use regular variables. So if you wanted to do let full name equal my object dot name plus that plus last name. So again, other than this, all the rest of it is just what we've seen before. So when you put this in here, you're just saying take the contents of my object dot name, which is Tom, and insert it here. So it would be Tom with a little space and then the last name. And you can initialize uh, these values within here. So let's see how we would do that. Hopefully this is making some sense to you. I think it logically builds upon what we've already sort of done. So we'll say let's make this a bit more gamey terms. So let hero equal, you open up the object just like we did earlier, like that, but this goes on another line. And then inside here, we can say first name, no, let's just say name, and it's a colon, name, Bill, a good old-fashioned hero name, Bill. And then we can say class, warrior, HP, 100. So yeah, this is just another way, maybe even a quicker way than doing let hero equal that, and then saying hero dot name equals Bill, hero dot class equals warrior. See, these are both both they're both achieving the same goal. It's just different ways of doing it. And how you would get rid of something, say you no longer wanted the name in there for whatever reason, you could do hero, you would do delete hero dot name. So if you run this piece of code, it will remove name. So let's actually test some of this. We will alert hero dot name, and we will also alert hero dot class. And then after we delete the name, we will try and alert the name again. Let's just see what happens. So Bill, warrior, and then undefined. Here is that undefined we were talking about before. So why does it say undefined? Well, we haven't just said this still we haven't said this still exists, but there's no name. What we've said is completely remove this. So it's not there. So when we try and get it, the code, well, or the system says to us, I haven't got a clue what that is you're looking for. It's undefined. It's not been defined. It's nothing. It doesn't exist. Okay, so let's take a look at the next part of why these are so interesting. Um, so let's put name back in there. And it's going to be Joe this time. So if we wanted a little bit more of a, maybe we wanted to do some kind of calculation within here. Uh, Maybe we could say change name. Let's say function. So we have now added a function or a method to this object called change name. And so, you know, maybe I've jumped the gun just a little bit here. We should do something maybe a bit different first. Let's do last name Valentine. So we can have full name and we'll return this dot name, and this will be a bit strange if you've not seen it before, plus this dot last name. So what is this? What are we doing here? We have added a function to the object or a method, and this is close but different to how we've seen it before. So let's just take note. In the past, we've done function, my function, and then the code goes in the middle. So we're just swapping things around a little. When you're declaring properties or methods inside an object, you put the name here. So this is the name of the property. This is the name of the method or the function. So this is just like that bit here. This is what that is. And then we've said function with the brackets is essentially just a different way of saying this is a function and these are the same brackets. So yeah, in the past we've used num1, num2 to add numbers together. This is just the same pair of brackets here, num1, num2. But we don't need that in this one. And then we open the curly brackets, and inside the curly brackets are are all the lines of code we want to run. So this is the middle part is going to be exactly the same. In the past, we've had return something and something. Well, we're doing that here as well. Full name, we return this dot name plus a space plus this dot last name. So what are we doing here? Well, the dot part we already understand. This is dot notation, which is like doing hero dot name. So what does this mean? Well, pretty straightforward. It just means this object that we are inside. So because the method is inside the hero object, when we use this, we are just saying take this object and then get the name from it. And then take this object and get the last name from it. So all we're doing is saying get the first name, put a space in the middle, and then get the last name and return that value. So let's just check, just to make sure it's actually doing what we think it does. We've created this object and we are going to alert out hero dot full name, and we're just going to call it the same way we would any function. It's the name and then the brackets. And what this should do is say Joe Valentine. Oh, unexpected identifier. That's very unexpected. Um, what what was the problem here? Oh, it's probably because I left this in. There we go, Joe Valentine. Oh, wrong thing. So, just so you know, the reason that broke is because you must have a comma to let the system know that you're finished with whatever you're doing here. So you say the name is equal to Joe, comma. Last name is equal to Valentine, comma. And when I got here, I said this function is called full name and then nothing. I didn't have any way of saying we were done. So it thought this wasn't finished yet and it continued on here and said, well, now I don't know what I'm doing. This doesn't make sense. So I need to add in the comma here to let it know that we're on another line, or not another line, just we're finished with what we were doing here. So just for clarification, let's make sure I actually was that. Yeah, there we go. Joe Valentine. So yeah, let's say change name. What if we wanted to change the name? We could put in a parameter here that is new name. And remember, you don't need to declare a variable when it's a parameter because the function will handle that for you. So we're passing in new name, and what we want to do is say this dot name is equal to the new name. So again, it looks different, but don't let that bother you. All we're doing here is saying function change name. We're passing in the new name, and then we're saying take the variable name and make it equal the new name. This is essentially all we're doing, but from within the confines of an object. So this should work now. If we want to call the full name, and then we'll say change name and pass in something else. We will say Jill, and then we will call the full name again. So display the name, change the name, and then show us the name again. So there's the original, Joe Valentine. Then we will change the name and show us the new one. Oh, undefined. I've done something wrong. Oh, you know what? I didn't do anything wrong. I was just being silly. So, any guesses as to why that did what it did? It did change the name correctly, and it did display the name correctly. This function does not have a return value. All it does is changes the variable to the new variable. So with me trying to alert out change name, the system said, well, you're not returning anything here. So I don't know what you want me to display. There is nothing to display. All we're doing is changing a variable name, and so it returned undefined because there wasn't anything to return. So that's fine. You don't need to alert that. You just call it. You just call hero change name and then let it do its thing. So I'll do it again, just because really. So it'll say Joe Valentine, and it won't show undefined now. It will just change the name and then show us the new name. There we go. So we're covering quite a lot of different things in this video, but it's not all too different from what we've already been handling. What was I thinking of doing there? Do, 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 do. Mm. Oh yeah. So let's dive into why is any of this good? What's the point of it? Couldn't you just have all of these as separate variables somewhere? Let's just store name somewhere. Let's store last name somewhere. Keep it all separate and on their own. Why do we want to put it in an object, and what's the point? Well, uh, say we had more of this. We had more of this. We'll take, let's just say male hero, and then we'll say another one called female hero. So I'm getting rid of the change name just for now. And I'll do it here as well. Get rid of the change name. So we have male hero, Joe Valentine. And we have female hero, Jill Valentine. Say mage. So now, if we take male hero and we just run the full name function, we get the full name out of it, and it will say Joe Valentine. And then we run this one that says female hero dot full name, and it gives us the different name. So this is leading us to this leads us on to classes, which I might just make another video for. Yeah, okay. So the short answer is it keeps everything contained into a relevant object. So this could be one of your heroes in your game. And so if you have this stored somewhere, you can quite easily get the name, the last name, the class, the health, anything that's relevant to just this hero is all within this hero. And you can do male hero.hp and you know exactly what it is you're talking about. This is the HP belonging to this object. And then the same thing for the female hero. But the long answer we will get into, I think, in the next video. So thanks for watching.